Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is the man who celebrates the holidays the same way Batman does, which is strapping a pack of dynamite to a carny and chucking him down a sewer hole. Mr. Drew Celestino.
The memories I had in my youth, beating up the Red Triangle Gang.
The Red Triangle Gang.
Remember them?
How were they not like the Joker's cronies?
You know, it's Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
That's all I have to say.
Because
about that.
Tim Burton.
Because Tim Burton.
They were very Burton-esque characters.
Oh, very much so.
Just they were cronies to the wrong villain.
Yeah, when I think of a circus, I don't think of the Penguin.
No.
But here we are.
No, the Penguin just wasn't done right at all in that film.
No. And the funny thing is, I remember the HBO special. Remember HBO used to do those like making ofs?
Yeah, they still do them.
They had an interview with like Danny DeVito, and he's just like, you know, in the comic books, he's this guy, and he lives uptown, and he wears a tuxedo, and like, we didn't want to do that. He sounded all ashamed, like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we wanted that. Danny.
We wanted the aristocrat who doesn't fit in, but
yeah. Well, no, you're gonna get a fish monster.
Yeah, it was weird because the animated series kind of gave us a hybrid of the two. When it first started.
I remember, yeah.
Then they kind of redesigned a more classic style, which I preferred.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, folks. All right, here we are, back again, sir. Opening statements. How has your week been?
Uneventful, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, considering coming off a big trip and busy week last week.
Yeah, mostly just enjoying some Doom time on the Switch. We had our game night. What did we play?
Photosynthesis,
that's right. And Saturday was pretty low-key band practice day, and my post activities were kind of canceled, so it was just like, well, I'll just play more Doom.
More Doom!
Not a problem for me, really. I stumbled into watching Interview with the Vampire. It was on at night, and I was like, I haven't seen this in a long time.
Okay. I think I watched it like in the past 5 years or so. I still like it.
So it's okay.
I don't like what it led to, kind of what the trend in vampires it started.
What did it start exactly?
I don't blame it for that.
What would you say it started?
Kind of like, the whole Twilight vampire style.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah, well, it's Interview.
Brad Pitt doesn't sparkle, sir.
Interview with the Vampire was kind of the pebble that started the avalanche towards a less monster style vampire and more emo, miserable.
I guess so. Yeah, that's Brad Pitt's character's kind of mopey vampire.
Yeah.
But
Mopire.
Yeah. Ultimately, I didn't get to the part with like Antonio Banderas and all that stuff. I turned it off somewhere before. It was late. I had to go to bed. But my thoughts immediately were Tom Cruise is really bad in this.
He's great now. What are you talking about?
Oh, he's terrible. Tom Cruise has been good in exactly like 3 movies, and I could probably name them.
Tom Cruise is good in almost every movie.
No. Anyway, Brad Pitt serviceable, but his character lacks any sort of like real motivation. I was kind of watching it. It's just like
that's the whole point. He lives forever. He has no more motivation.
Not even that. Like he's basically a mopey. He's a mope fest from like the minute he turns. Like, why'd you want to turn then?
Well, he was a mope fest before.
Yeah, he was kind of weak for your lead, I guess. It's like, what's this guy's deal? I don't get it. Kirsten Dunst though was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
which in her was like her first role.
Yep.
She was going places. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of weird. I turned it off, but it was a phenomenon, and I remembered it. I was like, oh yeah, this movie, interesting.
Don't watch Queen of the Damned.
I did watch Queen of the Damned. Not a great movie, but a fantastic soundtrack. So take what you can get.
Didn't Trent Reznor do the singing for Stuart Townsend in that film? I remember it was like someone.
Jonathan Davis.
Okay.
And he also wrote all the songs, but he was not allowed to perform the songs vocally on the soundtrack you could purchase, unfortunately. So we got guests from all different bands, and they weren't nearly as good as the versions he did in the movie, even though they were
Warner
still
Brothers.
good. Yeah, well, such is. Anyway, Sunday was watch the Bills in the snow game.
That was
day.
great.
It was kind of fun.
Loved it. I love snow games.
Snow games
I watched
are fun.
it with my friend Jim. I'm like, I don't even care if we lose. This is just fun to watch.
Oh, I cared if they lost, and
you
I well, it would be very. Let's put it this way: when Indianapolis mounted their comeback, all I could think was it'd be very Billsy if they lost this game. It's a perfect storm of Bills. No pun intended. No pun intended there. As soon as McDermott punted in overtime, I thought they should have fired him before he got to the locker room. Your season's on the line. I'm going to punt. You gave up the ball with the season on the line. You're good boy, coach. Way to stick it out there. Anyway, that was really it. And so yesterday being Monday, we did the 3-hour Raw. We did it in like 45 minutes, which is really the best way to do it. Didn't miss anything at all. It's pretty ho-hum. Broken Matt Hardy's back, though, which is fun. So that's good, at least.
Okay.
But we have decided that we are going back in time. Back in time.
I saw Chris Jericho attack Kenny Omega.
That happened. We'll get to that in a minute. So we're doing Retro Raw.
Okay.
Retro Raw.
Like back in the day when it was in like a hotel convention ballroom?
A little bit after that, but close.
Okay.
We're starting in 97, not the early 90s when the product was absolute garbage. 96. We started in 1996. In 1996, this is when things were starting to take form. They were getting their proverbial... Well, no, this was before they were getting their butts handed to them by WCW, but WCW was becoming a thing. They had just got Hogan and Savage, and they were on TNT, and things were starting to build, right?
Or TBS. Pay-per-views with 2 rings in them.
That was
twice the rings.
That was NWA. That was War Games, man. That's a classic. So we started watching Retro Raw. So WWF at the time still had Kevin Nash's Diesel, still had Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall. Bret Hart was the champ. Shawn was doing Shawn stuff. Shawn's a notorious jerk, and it shows, and it's great in a terrible way. Sonny's still there. Taker's still there.
Yokozuna.
Yoko's is still there. It's so, but it's like
Tatanka.
You get to kind of see Doink is gone by this point. But it's really cool. So we watched like 3 episodes so far of 1996 Raw, and just watching. It hasn't officially kicked off the era that we really love yet, but it's like the seeds are there, and you're just kind of following. You can see it. You can see it kind of taking shape, and we're just waiting for it to explode. And it's gonna be fun. It was a lot of fun actually to watch this stuff. So yeah, Chris Jericho attacked Kenny Omega in Japan to sell the match on January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom.
Is stuff like that common for an NJPW?
No. This is...
Because you said they kind of handle their product very differently. As far as like the pre-post match material.
Yeah, challenges are issued, press conferences are had, but like beatdowns like this are kind of uncommon.
Okay.
Especially considering that Chris Jericho, I mean, I know the match is like next month. It's weeks away, literally. Yeah. And all he's done is deliver a video package promo at the last big event. I didn't expect him to show up. He showed up, and he put the beat down on Kenny, bloodied him up, and the next day, today? Overnight, yeah. Chris Jericho was giving a press conference in a hotel lobby, not a lobby, but a ballroom or whatever, with a table, and they got he's sitting down, and he's giving
their stuff.
Yeah. Looks like a proper press conference, because they still do that, unlike WWE over here, where it's just all whatever. So he's giving a press conference, and who should appear and proceed to beat the bejesus out of him?
Santa Claus?
Kenny Omega.
Oh, okay.
They both have silver hair, though, so
Yeah.
So we're going. We're full tilt pushing towards Wrestle Kingdom.
Are you expecting this match to be good?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Jericho might be 46, but I think he can still pull out a match, and Kenny can probably carry him to a very, very, very good match.
Okay.
And they're really doubling down on the grudge match aspect of it. So they might not get super technical, but then again, they might. But it might just be a blood match for all we know.
The brutality was still there.
It could be. In which, brutality in NJPW is not common either. So they're really going guns blazing here, which is kind of exciting. This is big for their expansion. Like they've got a lot of eyes on the product right now that otherwise they would have gotten for this match.
When I put out the episode description for our episode last week,
yes,
and I'd written that like John Cena leads us to a deep theoretical discussion and whatnot, philosophical.
Yeah. Well, much like God, the John Cena, we can't see it.
My friend Jim texted me. He's like, "When are you guys talking about John Cena on your show for?" I was like, well, it was a rumor. One here is like, oh, okay. I thought you guys were like talking that wrestling was real and WWE was good. I was like, no, you clearly don't listen to the show.
Yeah,
which he doesn't. It's not his cup of tea, and that's fine.
Okay, well,
I'm like Drew hates WWE. He only watches NJPW and Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I like those.
And I said that watching NJPW after watching nothing but WWE is like watching Tony Jaa for the first time after all you've ever watched is Steven Seagal.
Oh God! Wow.
Yeah,
but he does Aikido, and he.
Yeah, no. Have you ever seen Tony Jaa film?
I've seen Tony Jaa do stuff. I don't know if I've seen like movies, but I've seen him.
I'm convinced that they're not stunt doubles he works with. They're just homeless men that they con into being in the film with a sandwich, and he just kills them.
Wow.
Because you see something, you're like, there's no, because it's all like legit, real stuff. They're not CGing anything, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good, I like that.
That was my description.
Cool. Well, that's what's up, man. I'm kind of getting hyped for that. Other than that, same old. I'm in a holding pattern. Oh, and I snowblowed for the first time today.
As did I.
Yeah, I'm questioning my decisions to live here, but that's okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, such is. Cost of living is good, but I got a snowblow.
It's better than shoveling.
Red pill, blue pill. I don't know. It is better than shoveling. Oh, God. Yeah. I can't shovel, sir.
No,
my lower back goes out quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's your week?
My week was pretty good. Had a lot of post birthday party gift cards and whatnot to go through, which was convenient because this week the new wave of X-Wing ships came out.
And Christmas is coming early for you.
Was it convenient? Because there was 5 ships in this wave. Typically there's 3, maybe 4.
They're giving you a lot.
This one was 5.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah. So 2 Imperial ships, 2 Rebel ships, and a Scum ship. And oh boy, are they! I think they're going to be a lot of fun. So that was Thursday. Friday night, like you said, we had game night. I brought over Photosynthesis, and most everybody seemed to enjoy it.
I'd say so.
You didn't seem to.
I got the game, but
I
got it.
You were also kind of half-assing it.
Well,
you were talking beer stuff.
Which
I'm not going to begrudge you talking beer stuff. You want to get ready for your next brew. Multitasking indicates you're doing 2 things well, and like you would come back to the game and we'd have to explain a rule we've already explained 3 times, and you get mad.
Well,
this is a game that is instantly in my conversation for Game of the Year because it works on multiple levels. It's a great starter game, like we've talked in the past about games that kind of hook people who don't play like designer board games. But it's easy to learn, but the strategy involved in it, just the levels you have to think to have like a good game. I think if you give it, because like Jen loved it, Tim and Lauren loved it, I love it. I know Alan's a big fan of it, so I think you gotta give this one give it your full attention for a couple.
Yeah, it was really fine. I just
the components are beautiful. So yeah, but that was fun. It was a good game night. I was all excited because next day it was gonna be my my first regional X-Wing tournament, which are big tournaments. And while we were sitting there Friday night, I jump on the website for the game store in Rochester that it was going to be held to register, and I see this event is sold out. I was like, crap.
So, did you spectate?
I didn't go.
Oh, you did straight up.
I posted in the X-Wing forum, like, well, I learned this lesson, pre-register for regionals.
Yes.
And people are like, you should still come. You know, people don't show up. The guys always hold, you know, spots and whatnot. And I was thinking about it, and I told Julie about it when I got home. And she wasn't too crazy about me going to Rochester on a maybe. So, and I could see that. We only have one car, so...
Yeah, one car, and to
drive an hour and a half there and hour and a half back. If I didn't make it, is kind of, probably not the best idea for not a guaranteed thing. So Saturday, I hung out with the wife and the kid, which was great. We did some Christmas shopping. Went to like the Boulevard retail area. Made the mistake of going into Target.
That plaza is death. That whole little that Target, Best Buy, Barnes and Noble, that thing is a death trap.
During the holidays, it
is a death trap.
Yeah, it you want to see humanity at its worst, go Christmas shopping in a big box store.
Yeah.
Yeah, Target was kind of rough, but there was some stuff we kind of had to knock out of the park. So we got 3 people done. Which is good.
It's a good start.
It's good, you know, compared to like what we had to do. See, I approach it differently than most other people. I accept the fact that this is going to take a long time. I'm not going to get a close parking spot. I'm going to have to wait in very long lines in and out of my car to get anywhere and to check out. And I make my peace with that. And I understand that. It's the people around me who think that they're going to somehow magically expedite their way through this process. They're the fun ones.
Well, I feel you. You just kind of you resign yourself to a miserable existence.
Yeah, you make your peace with the fact that this trip and this excursion is going to take 3 times as long as it would take during the non-holiday season.
Sure. Yes.
And then you just go and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So
you got the right attitude here.
So that was Saturday. Sunday, I got together with my friend Jim to watch the football game.
No one jumped out and yelled surprise this time.
What?
I said no one jumped out and yelled surprise this time.
No, it was disappointing. There was no surprise party waiting for me. Because...
we set a bad precedent for you.
Yeah. Now I have high expectations for football games. So that was pretty much it. I don't think anything... I got a short work week this week. I took off...
well, lucky you.
Thursday and Friday for my birthday, because Friday's my actual birthday, and of course Friday for Julie and myself is Star Wars.
Well, then I'll try not to spoil anything.
Yeah, you're going
on Thursday evening.
Thursday night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we seeing each other Thursday evening?
I don't know. Are we?
I was about to say, how are you going to spoil anything? Unless you
well, the internets and whatnot.
Well, no, I would, at like 6 o'clock Thursday evening, we're going social media blackout.
I think you might want to start that now. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, there's some stuff popping up now, but it's all like no spoilers. It's all just, God, this movie's good.
Tread lightly is all I'm saying.
No, I know. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm fully expecting you not to like this film.
Really?
I got this feeling that you're not going to like it. I don't know a specific reason why.
I still like Star Wars, man.
Kinda. But I just got a feeling
I still enjoy Star Wars.
I got a feeling you're not going to like it. I think something's going to happen or you're not going to like it. Okay. I don't know why.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. Because obviously we're going to be reviewing it next week.
I mean, I really like The Force Awakens a lot, and I defend it against a lot of its biggest criticisms, so I don't know why you think I'm not going to like The Last Jedi, but okay.
Yet you're afraid to watch Rogue One again.
Funny enough, some of it was on recently, and I had it on. I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's not as good as I remember, but it's okay.
All right. Well, we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see.
Certainly will.
All right. What theater are you going to for it?
Ooh, Galleria.
Yeah, we are
7:40 Thursday night.
I love going to AMC, but they wait so long to post their non-3D showings.
Yeah, I can't do the 3D showing. So I had to get those tickets literally like when they went on sale after the trailer that one night. I got them then. I got the last two in the theater basically.
Yeah.
So,
So Julie and
I'm in the building. It's all that matters.
Yep.
So
yeah. All right, folks, that was our week. We would love to hear from you and hear how your weeks were. If you would like to contact us, send us any questions or comments to be read on the show. You can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, we do have some questions.
Hit me. Don't forget the Twitter questions this week.
We don't have any Twitter questions.
Okay.
We do have
just putting it out there.
We have a text question.
A text. Okay.
Because Jay's getting a little lazy.
First, just now.
Yeah. First question is from our friend Adam. Adam asks, for both of us, do you think that Jar Jar Binks will play a prominent role in the new trilogy that Rian Johnson will be directing? And moving on to Adam's next question.
His actual question. We're just gonna let that one lie.
I'm sure he likes to poke the stick at the bear. Drew.
Holla.
When will I receive a Christmas present of your velvety vocals singing about Carl's Toy Mania?
Yeah.
That would be an appropriate Long Cold Dark Christmas song. About how much you hate the fact that I had toys as a kid.
Yeah, don't hold your breath
called
for all this.
Sunken Flag.
Oh boy. Yeah, no. We'll see. I'll work on that. Maybe.
This question for me, Carl. Do you trust the process? Not when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. I think don't get me wrong. I love the Bills. They're my team. I bleed Buffalo blue, but in all honesty...
But now they wear red, Carl. What now?
I don't mind those red jerseys. I mind them with the red pants.
Well, they went full red on...
Yeah, no, I know. Well, in those conditions, it kind of helped.
It did, actually, but I still insist that that's just a very Patriot-esque uniform, which I can't abide by. Anyway.
My friend Jim and I one year played what we called the Camouflage Bowl in Madden. His favorite team is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we played in Orchard Park. Winter turned all the way up. I had the classic white helmet with the standing buffalo, white jerseys and the white pants, and he had the Chiefs all whites. And
you could do that in that
game?
Oh,
it was kind of like you threw the ball and you hoped you threw it to the right receiver. No, I'm gonna. In all honesty, I love the Bills, and just to talk sports very briefly, with two teams in particular, the Bills and the Browns. I don't think it's a question of getting player X or player Y. I think those two teams need a complete culture change in how they approach things. I think you should clear house on both teams down to the studs.
I've said this for years, and everyone gets mad at me.
Well,
How does Russ Brandon still exist in this town? I want to know. I want answers to this question. No one knows. I want to know.
I'm more pleasant than you are these things.
Sir, the last Bills playoff game, I was in high school. I deserve to be mad.
I was a freshman in college.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
See? 1999.
Yeah. No, it would have been sophomore.
All I'm saying is it's been a while.
Yeah.
And guess who's been there that whole time? Russ Brandon.
Yeah.
He's failed upward to the top.
Hey, quick question. What do you think of the Sabres Winter Classic jerseys?
I think they're great.
Yeah.
I think they're magnificent. My only one gripe. I don't like the the NY on the logo.
Yeah.
Here's why.
It sticks out.
Because okay.
Like, I get they're
playing in New York City, and they're trying to be like, look, it's New York. Like,
just do something like that on a shoulder patch.
Not even that. Because here's the thing. Just take the NY off, and it's fine. Then it's dead on. I love it.
Yeah.
NY as an abbreviation to us here in Buffalo, don't patronize us. You're New York City. We're Buffalo. Yeah. Never the twain shall meet. We don't like that little reminder like you're trying to big time us. And that's how I feel. Like, oh, NY. Oh, right. New York. As in New York City. As in the city that thumbs their nose at the rest of the state and thinks that, they're the only thing that matters. And big, you know what I'm saying.
I get you.
It just, it's a little detail, but it's one of those like, remember when UB... a few years ago, they took UB off all their sports uniforms and they tried to put State University of New York in really big letters on them instead. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was kind of a big uproar around here. It's like, dude, it's University of Buffalo. Like, just why you gotta undermine Buffalo? Why you gotta make us look small time?
Yep. Okay, so
anyway, good jerseys. Love them a lot.
On to the Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson of the Devils Do.
Oh, they upgraded.
It was a bit miffed at the whole Orko thing. I mean, we said he was snarf.
Did we, though?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so, first off, starting with Jay. Drew and Carl. Given the thankfully not sacrilegious start to Doomsday Clock, are there any crossovers you'd like to see or think interesting between companies? Like if the cast from Saga showed up magically in Wakanda and Prince Robot showed Black Panther weird porn on his TV head.
Well, the thing is, it's not a cross-company thing with Watchmen in the DCU. It's just a thing that was not connected is now connected. So when it comes to intercompany crossovers, I get a little uptight about that because I don't know, it just doesn't.
Because then we get Dark Claw.
Well, there's that
Dark Claw.
But I'm trying to think, like, have there been any like really great cross? Well, some people really like that Avengers JLA crossover.
I've heard good things about it. I mean, Dan Jurgens and George Perez.
Sure. But like, I'm trying to think of another example. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing here.
I think the whole Marvel versus DC series from the 90s could have been fun if they didn't let the fans vote.
Ooh. Yeah, I never read that, and I don't want to.
Yeah, it was...
The only one I want, the only one that makes sense, and again, how did it not happen? Okay, two actually. Two of them. And actually, one of them cropped up this week in an article on CBR in the comic book Urban Legends column, which is one of my favorites, actually. Daredevil and Batman.
Yeah.
Bendis was supposed to do it. Maleev was supposed to draw it. Never happened.
How
you know why it didn't happen?
Like, I get reasons because money, but when they did that whole amalgam thing, how do you not combine those two?
Oh, I don't. Well, because Daredevil.
That makes so much sense.
It does. It really does. Well, it didn't happen because this is around 2002-ish, and Joe Quesada was poking the bear pretty hard about DC at the time. He wanted there to be like a friendly but not friendly rivalry between the two companies.
Yeah.
So Bob Levitz, who was running DC at that time? Was it Bob Levitz?
I think so, yeah.
It was pre,
wasn't Julie Schwartz.
It was pre-Dan DiDio.
Yeah.
He refused to work with anyone at Marvel as long as Joe Quesada was there because of some silly things that Joe Quesada said. So the Daredevil Batman series got nixed. That stinks. Also, again, the one we talked about that's never happened, but it should, given the nature of things. Daredevil, Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
It's obvious.
Marvel, IDW, listen. We're busy. We got stuff going on. But if you want us to do this, we can pencil you in.
Sure. I've only written like one comic book before, but I'll give it a good go here. It's been a while.
Do you think you and I could write a comic book?
Yeah.
And still be friends at the end of it?
No. Can we do it? Yeah. Would it last? No. Well, it depends. What is it? What are we talking about?
Well, if we did like a Daredevil Ninja Turtles crossover.
Oh, well, I don't know. Which version of the Turtles are we going for here?
We're going comics.
Okay.
We're going like comics with you season it with like some of the other lighter fare.
With the cultural snapshot that is the Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Can they all wear red instead of multicolors?
That's the seasoning kind of got to throw in as the multicolored masks.
I like when they have all the red. Okay.
I can't remember where
we'll compromise.
I saw a story that it actually gave like a reason Splinter gave them the different colored masks.
I would just,
and
they should just embrace it and say that like he's kind of racist and he can't tell the turtles apart. So he just gives them different colored masks. Y'all look the same to me.
Would it be
Dirty
racism
turtles?
or just like speciesism?
I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, so Jay's question for me. Given the Jaws the Revenge status as the greatest Christmas movie of all time, what are your favorite non-traditional holiday movies? See, we getting drawn back into this where my views on this are not popular. But he's saying non-traditional holiday movies and not Christmas movies. Batman Returns, as we alluded to earlier in the show. If you're going to call Die Hard a Christmas film, you kind of have to call Batman Returns a Christmas film.
Oh, it's unabashedly a Christmas film.
Yeah. Basically, any Shane Black film takes place at Christmas.
Did Iron Man 3 take place at Christmas?
Yep.
Wow,
remember the gigantic bear you got her?
Oh, yeah.
Lethal Weapon takes place at Christmas. Shane Black wrote it. He didn't.
Interesting. Wow, I never noticed this before.
I know Donner directed.
Does that mean the new Predator movie will take place at Christmas?
Quite possibly.
Wow.
Have you been enjoying Predator on the Shelf?
I've seen that. Yes, that's not bad. Yeah. I see he's claimed R2.
Yes. Yeah, I got to do something tonight when I get home. Folks, for those of you who don't know, obviously you're aware of Elf on the Shelf.
Oh, we're all aware of Elf on the Shelf.
I decided to do Predator on the Shelf. And the tagline is, it doesn't rhyme. He doesn't care if you're naughty. He doesn't care if you're nice. He's just hunting you.
Does it have to be Christmas holiday or
no?
just
holidays he said non-traditional
in
holiday films.
The holiday being Christmas time.
I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because there's other holiday movies, Halloween movies, and Groundhog Day. Anyway, non-traditional. I don't know. I'm totally blanking.
I will one film, and you're gonna hate this, but
me? No,
I am who I am. A film on my all-time top 10 list that's often referred to as a Christmas film, but does not fit my criteria for a Christmas film. Love Actually.
I have no idea what Love Actually is.
It's you know what? It's a rom-com, but it's really well done.
You lost me there.
Enjoy it. Okay. So, Drew.
Yeah.
If the copy of the copy version of Drew was allowed to do a podcast, what would it be about?
Copy of a copy?
So if your multiplicity... Clone from a clone.
Yeah, okay.
Remember how you make a copy of a copy?
Yeah.
It's not as good as the original.
Yeah. It would be about...
Pizza and Dolphins?
I mean... Yeah. Pizza. Cherry Crush. And seahorses. There you go.
And N-Gage. The N-Gage.
What, the taco phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just throw that in there. The one you had to get a screwdriver and unscrew the back to change the game?
Yeah, I forgot all about that. I would the copy of the copy know about that?
Sure.
Sure, we'll go with that. The N-Gage.
Okay. As opposed to calling everyone Steve, what would be your generic name for everyone?
Durf.
Okay. All out.
K.O. Durf.
K.O. Durf.
That's right.
So I just referencing that, I stumbled across a series on YouTube that Variety does, Variety the magazine, called Actors on Actors, and it's basically just two different actors having conversations with each other.
I thought it was something else.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
It's just like two different actors having kind of like an unscripted, unfiltered conversation with each other about the craft. And it's kind of like, obviously, they're, two actors who kind of have something out at the time that they're promoting.
Okay.
And one of the segments was Samuel L. Jackson with Michael Keaton.
Interesting.
Jackson was promoting Hateful Eight, and Keaton was promoting Spotlight. Did you see Spotlight?
I did not, but I'm racking my brain if they've ever shared the screen together.
Yeah, Jackie Brown.
I was just going to say it would have to be Jackie Brown.
Yeah. Watch Spotlight if you get a chance. Really good.
Yeah?
You like The Founder, you love Spotlight.
Okay.
I mean, just because it's Keaton doing Keaton things.
I like Keaton things.
And Jackson asked him, we both kind of have some iconic pop culture roles in our repertoire. What's one that you hear from fans the most? And he was talking about, obviously internationally, it's Batman and Beetlejuice. But he said, in recent years, Multiplicity is really starting to crawl in there. I was like, yes! That's awesome.
We're getting that sequel. It's coming.
Multiplicity times 2.
That's right.
That's what the sequel would be called.
There's going to be 6 of them.
6.
I'm all for this.
All right. Now on to Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew. Who would you want as the next Avengers villain? Kang the Conqueror, Michael Korvax, or Doctor Doom? That's pretty easy.
Well, here's the thing. The obvious answer is Doom.
Yes.
But I don't know that I want Doom there until he gets his proper introduction with Fantastic Four and set up the rivalry between Reed and Doom and have them have a little tiff first.
Obviously, we're going to be getting into some stuff related to this in the news.
The news is juicy this week, sir.
News is plentiful. I would just...
You say Doom. Or you say Doom.
Kang's really good.
He's more Avengers-y, which is why I think they could go there.
But I would kind of want them to do him the way they did him in the cartoon series.
Okay.
The Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where there's no lead into him. He just shows up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm here.
I'm Kang.
Time.
Doing Kang stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So, yeah. I'll go with Kang.
Okay.
Okay, Drew.
Hi.
With Link having a motorcycle in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, he does. Well, I don't have it yet, but it's in the game, yes.
Isn't it hypocritical to criticize Final Fantasy for driving a car in Final Fantasy 15?
I mean, no, did I criticize Final Fantasy 15 for having a car?
You may have.
It's possible.
Final Fantasy. Let me put it this way: if I was in Vegas, and the bet was did Drew criticize blank? Now I know there's a lot of things you like, and I really appreciate your opinion. I'm gonna put my money on yes.
Great. Well, that's
I think wonderful. We can both agree that's the safe bet.
When's 2018? Few weeks. I'm turning over a new leaf. Yeah, I'm sick of being typecast as the guy who hates everything. Anyway, if I did criticize it specifically for that, then I guess it is kind of hypocritical. But if there's a good in-game reason for it, then whatever.
Here's my thought on it. I've seen some video of the motorcycle in Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
And, I mean, I guess you can call it a motorcycle, but it looks like it fits in the world.
Right. That's my point.
Whereas in Final Fantasy 15, the car is just like, Final Fantasy 15 brought to you by Cadillac.
Well, the thing in Final Fantasy that weirds me out is
it's not an airship. It's not piloted by a guy named Sid.
Well, that obviously. Oh, I'll refrain.
Now, if Sid was the chauffeur,
okay,
you can make a little bit of a case there.
I'm refraining, but no, I guess it would be hypocritical, and if there's a good in-story reason for it and it works in the context of the game, fine. Do what you got to do. But I miss the chocobos and the airships.
Airships are great.
Yeah, castles, and big open world maps.
Yeah.
And turn-based combat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So basically, you just missed Final Fantasy. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Kind of that, yeah. Bravely Default is my Final Fantasy now.
Okay, see that. Carl, with Disney on the verge of owning Fox Films, what would...
Spoilers, Alan.
Would you want... Well, according to Alan's sources... This is
Yeah.
Would you want less Wolverine and more balanced X-Men cast, meaning not having Wolverine as the center of the story like past X-Men films? Yeah. I mean, I think pretty much every X-Men film has been more or less a Wolverine film.
Yes.
As it is. And the ones that there was one they didn't do that, and it worked.
First Class.
First Class was great. Even had a great cameo by Wolverine.
One line. That's all he needed.
Yeah. And like the other film where Wolverine wasn't centric in but still made an appearance, Apocalypse, just like Wolverine's appearance was great, but the rest of the film not so much.
We're going to talk about all this stuff in a minute, so I've got some thoughts.
Yeah, we'll cross that when we get to the news. Alan likes to jump the gun on the news.
That's okay. Maybe we should shuffle the show a little.
Alan likes to be the guy who says, I got there first.
Well, yeah, as he's been saying all day. Anyway.
I told you guys.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, maybe we should just, well, you know what? We're going to flip the format of the show. News first, mail second.
No. Mail, news, Alan's mail.
He gets his own segment. Oh, wow. You're giving him some FaceTime here. All right. Moving on.
Thank you all for your questions. We appreciate them. That closes the cross-examination and leads us to a very thick manila folder of the case files. Lots going on. I'm just going to jump around here. Earlier this week, the Jurassic World trailer debuted. Drew, I know you weren't a huge fan of the last Jurassic Park film.
No.
This one's 100% more Goldblum in it.
You know what?
And even if it's a small part, is Goldblum enough to get you in?
No, I got my Goldblum fix in Thor Ragnarok, Guardians. Thor Ragnarok, and I guarantee that he won't be nearly as Goldblum-y in Jurassic World Volcanoing, or whatever they're calling it. So, sorry, but your big dumb plot with the volcano on the Jurassic Park and all that business is not getting me in the door.
I enjoyed the last film. I watched the trailer for this one. I was like, we've been here, done this. Let's move along.
They've Michael Bay-ified it by like 40%.
Yeah, let's move along.
Here's another one. Small,
I mean, it's like, do we have dinosaurs that are breathing fire now? No,
it's just a volcano, and they got to save them all, and who cares? I just want to put this out there before we move on. The Jurassic Park phenomenon escapes me. Like the first movie, it was good. Saw it a bunch when I was younger. But this whole, movement, putting it on the level of, Star Wars and all this other stuff. No. 90s kids, pump the brakes.
I don't think it's as much Jurassic Park. I think Jurassic Park is the shell. I think
People
it's
just like
the
dinosaurs?
Universal appeal of dinosaurs to kids.
Well, I'm talking about adults here.
No, I know, but it's something that you grew up with.
Sure.
And there's always the rose-colored goggles of youth.
I'll go with that. All right.
I mean, the first film was great. I
don't
have the spitting hatred for the second film that most people do. Certainly it's an inferior product to the first film. Third film I thought was good. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, just this new one, I'm just that's the thing.
Yeah,
More
saw the trailer,
dinosaurs.
and it looks stupid. So, Nope, not going to that one.
Yeah.
That's me.
Okay, so we are living in a good time for... Think of a way to phrase this. A good time for injustices that have been done to past creators to be righted.
Okay.
A lot of past creators who haven't gotten credit for their contributions to the comic industry are starting now to get the credit. Now, granted, it's taking a lot of kicking and screaming and fighting to get this credit to them, but we're starting to see more and more of it. And this is, I think, is a very good thing. Another evidence of this was earlier this week in Brooklyn, New York, Bill Finger Way was unveiled. The, for all intents and purposes, creator of Batman.
Yes.
Is finally getting credit. I said like a couple months back on the show, watch the documentary on Hulu, Batman and Bill. It is fantastic.
I just hope his family's getting some residuals out of all this.
Yeah.
That's all I hope.
Well, his granddaughter is kind of getting the love from DC. Did you listen to the interview that Kevin Smith did with her?
I did not.
It was good. It was good.
It's
not
cool.
his,
no, I'm happy for that
fair.
because obviously Bob Kane is a hack and he stole credit for basically everything that you know as Batman from Bill Finger.
Yeah, folks, just real quickly, this is what Bob Kane created. He created the name Batman, and he created a figure that in no way resembles what you interpret as Batman.
And that's it.
It's a blonde-haired guy with a domino mask, long-sleeve red shirt, red pants, and like Da Vinci-looking bat wings on him.
Yeah. And no arch nemesis, no villains, no Robin.
Yeah.
No Commissioner Gordon?
No.
No.
It's
Nothing.
Bill Finger.
Yeah.
So like it was all either Bill Finger or I want to say Jerry Ordway.
Later on, maybe.
Yeah.
But Bill Finger, for sure.
Like 95% of what you know of Batman came from Bill Finger.
Yes, sir.
And
so, cool.
The man never got any credit for it. And just watch the documentary. It's fantastic. So that's cool. He's getting a
good news.
little bit of credit. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. So, Drew, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what happened this week?
Well,
Justice League crossed 600 million.
That's
worldwide.
Good. I mean,
that's good for like week 2. They're in week 5.
Yeah, they're in trouble with that movie.
So that being said, Warner Brothers has announced that the DC film division is going to go through massive restructuring.
Gee, I wonder what took them so long.
I think they're going to tear it down to the studs.
Yeah, it looks that way. Snyder is not going to be invited back to the party anytime soon. I guarantee you that.
No.
Some of the other big wig producer guys are getting moved around. Curious. I as much as I give the guy a hard time, I am a little disappointed in the news that they're moving Jeff Johns around too. Yeah. He was the chief creative guy, and now they said, at least in the article that I read, that they're going to kind of move him out to be kind of an advisor. In other words, yeah, Jeff, we'll call you if we think we need your help, but don't butt your nose in. Yeah. Which is kind of a shame because, I mean, he does know the product.
He knows the product. He knows the characters. Like, I get where you can't make him that Kevin Feige type. You need someone who has experience in the film industry.
Yeah.
Along with that knowledge of the product.
Sure.
Yeah, like I think that's really, they need to do that as their first step, is getting that guy who's that singular, the buck stops here, going to guide the vision.
I think they're going to do the opposite of that.
Probably.
I think they're just going to scrap the whole universe and they're just going to make movies.
Just release Aquaman.
Yep. Aquaman's coming out.
Wonder Woman 2.
They'll make a Wonder Woman 2. They'll make another Batman. They'll make this Joker movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. And none of it's really going to intertwine per se.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that's for the best. Because at least then maybe the comparisons to what Marvel is doing will stop. And maybe people can kind of just let up a little and take the movies for what they are. because there is no built-in pressure to make them something more than that. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, don't say they don't exist in the same universe, but don't dwell on it. Don't focus on it.
I guess.
Just be like, this happens to be. So that way, if you want to bring them all together at some point for something or another, sure.
I feel like they're just not going to do. They're not even going to adhere to any common continuity. It's just going to be the Batman movie does this, the Superman movie, if it ever happens, does this, and they're not really connected at all.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's what they were doing before Marvel became Marvel. That's kind of the way superhero movies were done.
Yeah.
Maybe
like
that's
a little off the cuff reference to Gotham or Metropolis or something like that. But yeah,
it just hasn't worked for them. And if they get cold feet now, I can't really blame them in a way.
Yeah. One thing DC has always done better than Marvel in the comics are those single standalone, self-contained stories.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel doesn't really have a Dark Knight Returns or a Red Sun, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, they really don't. You're right. Well,
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a little overdue, but here we are. Justice League
something was pointed out to me. I don't think it was this week. I think it was last week. I just forgot to mention it on last week's show. Remember the intro to Justice League, the opening credits, where they're kind of like going through different scenes of like how the world's a drearier place without Superman.
Yeah.
Remember the scene of the homeless guy with the sign that said "I tried"?
No.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They had just shown like a scene of a homeless guy. He has a marker on a cardboard sign that says "I tried," and you know whose name appears and credit wise on that scene? Joss Whedon.
Oh man! Oh.
You think Joss is trying to tell us something?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's gotta be intentional, man. That's gotta be intentional. That's amazing. Oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. That's funny. That is funny.
Yep. Okay, so two things extremely pertinent to the show. First off, it was just announced today via the official Twitter account that Punisher is indeed getting season 2.
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
Well, I guess I'm not surprised. Like, dude, the IMDb score is still, not that that's anything to go by, but it's got, I think it's the highest of all the shows that they've done.
I think that this incarnation of the Punisher is speaking to a broader audience, quite possibly because of the changes they're making to it that we as like the fans of the comic aren't exactly crazy about. So hopefully, I mean, granted, we're both like, 5-6 episodes into
I'm 6 in, and let me tell you,
business is picking up.
I know you heard my take, our take on the first episode, and it was, mixed.
We were kind of.
I will say this: 6 episodes in, now that I kind of see what they're going for, and business has picked up a bit. This plot that they're doing, honestly, is a very Garth Ennis-y plot.
Yeah,
and once I kind of realized that, my resistance to what they're doing went down a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm a little more on board than I was, and it seems to be going somewhere now around the 6th episode mark. Whereas these first couple, as we're going to get into, kind of, all right, let's get to the punishing.
Kind of wanted one of those shows where it didn't have a slump in the momentum. At least this one, they get it out of the way up front.
It seems that way, yes. Yeah. So anyway, cool.
So
another season of The Punisher.
Also, Jessica Jones season 2. We got a trailer and a release date.
We did.
And the release date is going to be March 8th.
All right, bring it on.
So I think it's safe to say Jessica Jones will be next after Punisher.
Sure, let's do that. We'll have to time that out properly. But
we'll have some fun one-off shows in between.
Cool.
What'd you think of the trailer?
It's Jessica Jones.
Yeah, she's doing stuff.
She's lippy and stuff.
I love the whole, if you say with great power comes with great responsibility, I'm going to throw up.
Not bad. Appreciate the wink and the nod. It looks pretty centered on her. There was no other real fan service to be had about the other shows, and that's
it. Seems that's primarily happening in the new season of Luke Cage.
Oh, okay.
Little Heroes for Hire action.
They're gonna, hey, cool. I'm curious to see what they do with season 2. It sounds like they're gonna bring back David Tennant in flashback form or whatever.
Yes.
He's in her head. The first season was about trauma, and it's kind of
trauma recovery.
Right, makes sense that would still kind of linger in the second season. So I'm curious to see where it goes. So yeah, cool. Bring it on. I'm happy that it did well enough to get another season.
Yep, and Tenet is just another example of how the Netflix Marvel shows are doing villains.
Oh yeah,
much better than the films.
Yeah. Marvel TV does not have a villain problem at all.
No.
Well, maybe Luke Cage, but that's not really their fault.
They didn't have a villain problem until
they created one.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
And he still wasn't like the worst.
No, he was just in a different show than they were.
Comic booky villain for a very serious show.
Ironic because it's a comic book show.
Yeah.
But
no, I get what you're saying.
Tone though. Tone, sir. Anyway, cool.
So, okay, real throwback here.
Go on.
I know you're not going to be too crazy about this, but I have a fondness for noir type characters.
Okay.
There will be a new Dick Tracy ongoing comic series from Archie Comics starting in 2018.
I'm curious.
And they've said it's kind of like they're going to start early career, like the first villain's going to be Flat Top.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll grab the first couple issues, see if I dig it or not.
Who's doing it?
Oh, yeah.
You put a good team on something like that, and I can get behind it.
Yeah. I don't remember what.
So not exactly A-list.
No, it's not that. It's just I'm trying to remember where I saw the article. I might have saw it on Facebook.
Well, that's kind of...
I had it, then went away.
It's almost as if we have the internet, Carl.
Yeah, I know. I am. It's taking... This is great for an audio medium.
It really is. Well, I'll say this. I remember Dick Tracy Mania when I was a kid, and I remember getting really hyped up for something that I had no attachment to whatsoever.
Yeah,
Isn't that
because
weird?
they learned from Batman, more or less, how to hype a film and get it.
The marketing was very similar. It had the dark, like, the poster was like very Batman 89-esque. Yeah. I kind of went on a Batman 89 deep dive this week, by the way. Just
really?
Yeah,
just the original ones or the series?
No, 89. Just that movie. I don't know why. But anyway, Dick Tracy kind of spun out of that, and the posters were similar, and it also kind of took place in a... Batman 89 took place in a undefined time, but the clothing and the art deco styling kind of made it look like the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Similar, Dick Tracy took place in the 40s, or at least that's the way it looked. And it just had a cool toy line, and it was everywhere.
It was like they made a living comic book. They used like primary colors.
Yeah, the use of color was
the
insane.
color palette was so vibrant.
It really was.
The film was just like really enjoyable and had some great performances in it.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, though, so I'd be afraid to watch it.
I've seen
now.
it a couple times, like in past memory, and to me it holds up if you take it for what it is.
Okay,
a Dick Tracy film.
All right, fair enough.
It's enjoyable.
But it also is responsible for the. It's kind of the birth of caricature Al Pacino.
Yeah, that and Sense of a Woman.
He kind of drew a line in the sand and said, "You know what? I'm done being serious. This is what I'm doing from now on.
I got one gear. This is it."
Yeah. Yeah.
We go from first to Pacino.
Sometimes I'm in first, but most of the time I'm going to Pacino. I'm going to Pacino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I should watch that again.
It's weird because like Warren Beatty, huge Dick Tracy fans, actually like still to this day owns the rights of the film and won't do another one unless he's allowed to play Dick Tracy.
Yeah, dude, you were old then.
Yep.
And I think that's actually one of the knocks of the movie. When I was a kid, I'm like, this guy's old. I don't want to be him. He's old.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really do a Dark Knight Returns with Dick Tracy.
Wow, what would that be like?
Oh, well, maybe you can.
But he's what's he, like 80 now?
Okay. De-aging and whatnot works wonders.
All right. Good enough. Hey, neat.
Yeah. Before we get to the big story of the week, Drew, I'm happy. I'm happy, man.
Are you talking about Happy on Sci-Fi?
No. Have you watched it?
It's on my DVR. I haven't watched it, but I heard it's pretty good. Jay Gelsomino gave it a big resounding thumbs up. So.
Nice. I'm extremely happy. This past week was Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
Which took place at PlayStation Experience, which PlayStation Experience was reportedly terrible, and they didn't really show anything, which is kind of unusual for them because those are usually pretty solid.
Welcome to console games in 2017.
So there were a lot of rumors flying around of what Capcom was going to unveil for Capcom Cup. The leading rumor was that we were going to get the first of the next line of new characters for Street Fighter V.
Okay.
Which we did, plus we got a whole lot more.
Well, who are the characters?
Well, no, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Before the top 8 of the tournament kicked off, they announced the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection.
Yes, this.
Oh, man. So much awesome in one package. 12 games.
Yeah. Go on, the list.
The list. I'm going to see if I can do this from memory. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting.
If I were to stop you right there, go linearly.
That's what I'm doing.
No, you're not, because
a Street Fighter.
Fighting Street, sir.
Street Fighter 1, which Alan is all excited to play, which clearly shows he's never played it before. Because
terrible game.
That game is almost unplayable. My friend Jim said to me, I hope they kind of tweak the gameplay. I was like, no. Just leave it as is.
As archival.
Leave it being a fireball, the hardest thing to pull off in the game. So, Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. So they're skipping over Champion Edition and Turbo.
Interesting.
Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
It's a lot of Street Fighter games.
So many, and 4 of which are going to be online.
Question.
Yes.
It's awesome that they're doing this. But is there enough differentiation between all those gradients to re-release them all and say, here, buy all these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm thinking about it, because I originally thought that at first, especially with the Street Fighter 2 line, if they were going like if they did Street Fighter 2 and then Champion Edition, Turbo, and then Hyper Fighting, that's when like the changes are very minimal.
Okay.
But they're going straight from vanilla Street Fighter 2 to Hyper Fighting. So that was the biggest jump right there. Then the jump from Super Street Fighter 2 to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is pretty substantial. Speed of gameplay, super combos are introduced for the first time.
Right.
So that jumps pretty big there. The Alpha series are all great. Each one is significantly different from the previous one. The 3 versions of Street Fighter 3 are almost 3 different games completely. There were such changes made between the two. So I believe it's Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike that will be online multiplayer.
And this is getting a Switch release, yes?
Yes.
I'm
PS4,
curious.
Xbox 360, or Xbox One, Switch, and Steam.
Very curious what the pricing of this is going to be.
Given the content, Well, we probably have two different opinions on this because I am a total Street Fighter file. If they come out with this and say it's $59.99, I'm like, okay, here you go. And I already have all these games at home.
That's fine, but that's a great collection.
I got to break out all these different systems.
Even I would say for $60 and all that, that's a good price. Honestly,
that's 12 games.
Yeah, I would say that's actually very fair. The only reason I bring it up is because they sold that Street Fighter 2
Ultra Street Fighter 2?
Mega Hyper Ultra whatever for Switch for $40.
Yeah, well that's one game.
It's one game.
You want to hear something?
Go on.
I heard that is very possible that game outsold Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
I'd believe it. Wait a minute. The one for Switch?
The new one. Yeah.
For Switch?
Yeah.
Outsold Marvel vs. Capcom, which is multi-plat.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Ultra Street Fighter 2 sold good. But,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, they better hope they made their money on that sucker to pay for Marvel vs. Capcom.
I kind of wish that version was included in the collection. That's my only gripe, and it's a minor one about that collection.
Newest product because they're still selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So,
wow.
So,
right, man. Well,
that was at the beginning of the tournament. At the end of the tournament, Yoshinori Ono comes out. Just, you got to love that guy. He's always so happy and positive. Drops the trailer for the first character of Season 3 of Street Fighter V. And as everyone predicted, it is Sakura. And she's a character where it's not like a big character to me, but she's got a huge fan base. A lot of people use her. And she looks a lot of fun in the trailer.
Okay.
So we got that.
Okay.
Everybody was, they were okay. They were happy. But then he comes back out. Like, you want one more thing? And everyone's like, yeah. So he drops the full trailer for Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, which reveals all of the new characters that are coming out for Season 3, which they have not done up to this point. They've only revealed one character at a time. And everybody was saying leading up to this, you kind of really got to do something to get us re-energized about this game. And I guess like an early version of Arcade Edition was playable at PlayStation Experience, and it's getting nothing but great reviews. So, and not only that, with Sakura, she gets her old classic Street Fighter Alpha 2 board, the one with the kid in the background playing the game.
All right.
Yeah,
sorry.
So okay, here's who's coming out for the Season 3. Sakura. My original main character, first love, close to my heart, Blanca.
I know him.
Is coming out. Cody is coming back.
Final Fight
Cody.
Okay.
Yep. He was in Street Fighter 4, and I hated him. He's just one of those characters that that you just have a hard time against.
Okay.
So I was not thrilled to see him, but he's looking different. Looks like he's the mayor of Metro City now.
Where's Hagar?
I don't know.
Okay.
So Cody. 2 new characters. One that kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln on steroids. And his name is simply G.
Yeah, okay.
Another one who looks like a Shadowloo kind of lieutenant. And her name is Felk or something. I don't know. But the big one, the one that everybody has been asking for since Street Fighter V came out. The King has returned. Sagat is coming back to Street Fighter. Finally!
I didn't know he was gone, but he's back.
He was not in Street Fighter V, and people have been asking for him.
Well, then.
For a good long time.
All right.
So 4 returning characters and 2 new characters.
Cool.
So yeah, it's predicted that Sakura will be available at the game's launch on January 16th. So this has created a lot of hype. People are very excited about this, and it will be interesting to see now how Street Fighter fares against the hot newcomer in February of Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Ah, yes. So in that collection,
yes,
will the movie game be included?
Oh, God, I hope not.
It should be.
I had that for Saturn.
Well, hang on. The home ports are terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I never got to play the arcade version.
It wasn't bad. I say this. It wasn't bad. It was Street Fighter with Mortal Kombat graphics. It played pretty tight.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was good.
All right.
But it wasn't bad.
Okay. All right. Good for you.
I'm just saying.
Okay. So I am extremely happy about that. The 30th anniversary collection arrives May 2018.
All right, get some.
Yes, indeed I will. So, okay, last news item, biggest news item. You know what, Drew?
Yeah.
Disney, Marvel, they're trying to screw us again.
Well,
they're not being considerate to what we do for them. They're not.
Yeah, they need us.
Showing us the love for everything we've done for them.
Oh, yeah. So much.
And all the major news outlets today are reporting that an announcement will be coming, not today when we're recording the show. No. Thursday.
So the day after this show goes live.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to announce that Disney is, in fact, purchasing Fox. So,
yeah.
Right now, I just want us to behave as if they've already made the announcement.
Well,
I want us to discuss this.
Let's save that for the actual announcement.
No, because then it's going to be like almost a week past.
So that's
we're getting in the door early.
Yeah, but we're
using Allen sources.
We need
that have confirmed this.
The South India Times
with the third grade grammar.
Yeah, that article
that this is in fact true and is. Let's be honest. We know 95% this is probably going to happen.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling though there's going to be some kind of details or curveballs that we don't anticipate that are going to be let out of the bag.
Yeah.
But if it is true, then I think we've said it before. I'll say it again. Suddenly, them not calling the fourth Avengers movie Infinity War Part 2 makes a lot of sense because suddenly things are looking very differently. And it also makes a lot of sense that they were tight-lipped about what would be in that movie because it was originally pitched as Infinity War Part 1, Infinity War Part 2, and they kind of said, well, we had to change the title because the movie's not really going to be
reasons.
I feel like they've known about this for a while, and
obviously a deal like this takes time.
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't know back then that they were going to win that fight. But if they at least had it on their radar.
Yeah.
Because Comcast was in the mix too. They bowed out. And now once they bowed out, Disney was like, well.
Well, Disney wasn't going to let anyone else.
Probably not. No, they probably played hardball, which is fine.
Yeah.
So suddenly that reboot prospect is pretty big.
Pretty
big.
So do you think that going back to when they struck the deal with Sony, that all story development going forward was operating under, okay, we have plan A and plan B?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
If they had the inkling that this was going to happen before, then they probably said, okay, Kevin, buddy, I don't care if you write it on a cocktail napkin, but just map out your little dream scenario of what you'd like to see if all bets were off. And then on the other napkin, a more sensible, this is what we've got kind of plan. And he probably did both. And then while they were making stuff, it fell into place. And here we are.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird? Here's what's weird about it. I'll tell you this up front. My biggest I told you my theater chain reservations, my Disney owning too much stuff reservations. Not only that, but directors and talent might have less places to go make their movies now. That's another valid concern. So that's one less studio out there making stuff. So just keep that in mind. But
I know a lot of people have had concerns about like the R-rated films.
That too.
The comic lore folks.
Too.
Disney owned Miramax when they were doing their grittiest stuff.
Yeah, but that's not to say that they would do that with these properties now. But then again, maybe they look at what Fox was managed to make successful over there and say, well, they did it. We can do it too. Anyway, let's put my reservations aside.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of chatter about the X-Men prospect of all this, and I'm of the opinion I'm just not that interested in the X-Men aspect of this.
I think you keep going with what you're doing. you keep going with the, okay, we're going to make Deadpool, it's going to be high meta comedy. And we've talked about this. We're going to make Logan, it's going to be road trip Western. We're going to make New Mutants, it's going to be horror.
Yeah, but that's all still coming out.
Use that to kind of keep exploring those
ideas,
creativities.
Sure.
I like, from everything I've heard on that show, The Gifted, is like 90% the X-Men we've always wanted.
Go figure. Well,
like, I guess the mid-season finale, they're going to have the Stepford Cuckoos
cool,
are going to be on it.
All right.
A little bit of Morrison getting
man
in there.
He's having all the TV luck right now.
Yeah.
No,
I like that show Legion has Shadow King on it.
I guess my point ultimately though is just like I don't care about the X-Men fighting the Avengers, but what's ironic is that I have a feeling that if Marvel owned it, no one would have cared at all. Like, it would have been like a big shrug, but because they've been so damaged and because absence makes the heart grow fonder, this Fantastic Four situation is the thing I'm most excited for. I don't know why that, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people that otherwise could not care less about the Fantastic Four are chomping at the bit for Marvel's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Just because they haven't seen it and they don't know that they haven't seen, like,
yep.
Like, because they haven't been able to do it, people want it more.
Yeah. I think, okay, now I get what you're saying about X-Men.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I agree with you. If you wanted to do X-Men, I think this is how you do it.
Okay.
Get a little closer to the speakers, folks. Devil Dew's going to drop another awesome idea that someone else should do on you.
That's something that's going to get stolen.
let's say after this Avengers film, there are no more Avengers.
Okay.
Dead or retired or whatever. So now you have a world that has had the Avengers, for the most part, the ideal heroes. Everybody loves them. Now you don't have those anymore.
Okay.
Now what do you have left?
Spider-Man.
Got the X-Men left.
Oh.
In a world that hates and fears them. They will know that we know they'll fear them because they've tried to half-assedly do that with Inhumans. Now they could do it properly with X-Men. And they're gonna hate them because the world sees that they're trying to take the place of the Avengers when in actuality they're just trying to, protect people and do their thing.
Okay.
It's not perfect. But
let me throw this one at you.
And then,
radical curveball.
And to have Avengers, quote unquote, films, the new Avengers.
Oh, yeah. But I don't want to spitball too many ideas, but I think what you could do is just keep the X-Men away in their own little universe and keep the Avengers in theirs.
No,
because that's been working out okay.
I'd be fine with that as well.
Or, let me throw this one at you. We find out in one of these movies, I don't know which one, but one of them, that the reason that there have been no X-Men in these movies all along, like when Thanos gets the, I don't know, not the soul gem, but like the reality gem or something like that.
Yeah, reality would be the one.
Visions start flooding in people's heads, and you see the Scarlet Witch have a vision of another universe that she was in where she said, no more mutants.
Ooh.
And that's the MCU.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be neat?
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty weird. How sweet would it be if they did new Avengers, though? An Avengers team with, like, Spidey, Luke Cage. We'll have Winter Soldier as Cap.
You're not getting Luke Cage in these movies. Or Daredevil. Or Jess.
I'm never saying never.
Yeah.
Never saying never.
I'm going to continue to be cynical. I guess the Russo brothers really wanted Daredevil. And
you mentioned that.
Kevin Feige said, no, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that now.
Yeah.
Well, Daredevil never joined New Avengers. They offered him.
No, but I just want him to show up.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm here. I'm doing stuff.
The Marvel stuff is great. And don't get me wrong, I'd be all excited for the Marvel stuff. How sweet would it be if they like the way they've taken this long to build towards Infinity War? How sweet would it be if they took that long to build towards Galactus?
I was just about to say, like, what if we get a Galactus cameo in this movie? It's fun.
You just gave me a chill.
It's fun to think about.
So the Marvel aspect of this is obviously great and would lead to like whole new things.
Yeah.
Because I'd be okay if they kind of wanted to put the core roster to bed for a little while.
Oh, they're going to one way or another.
Yeah. The other aspect of this, something we've wanted for so long.
Oh.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Give me the original cuts, baby.
Original cuts, official release. How much? You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. You know what wouldn't surprise me?
What's that?
If Disney had them already printed, ready to ship, and they shipped them as soon as the deal was official.
So it's like a Sega Saturn announcement, like it's in stores now. Like wait, what?
Yeah.
What? How?
I mean, that will not happen.
No, but they're already. Those cuts are done.
Yeah.
They are on a computer right now, ready to be mass produced onto Blu-ray disc.
Yeah.
I know this in my heart.
It'd be great. It'd be great. Just get to that scene where Han shoots first and just keep rewinding for like an hour. For like an hour. Just watch that one scene over and over and over again.
30 hours of Han. all at once. All for you.
All for you. Oh, man. That'd be
and
so
then,
great.
No Jabba scene.
No Jabba till Return of the Jedi.
The way
as it was intended.
Exactly right. Exactly. And when we see the Falcon, just like Luke for the first time, what a piece of junk.
What a piece of junk. That was your maneuver? You list lazily to the left? All right. That closes the case files.
I'm winded. Okay.
Winded. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of end of the year, a lot of stuff kind of starts to companies start ramping up for what they're going to do for the next year and whatnot.
All right.
So, but that being said, Drew,
Punisher Ep 2 time.
Time to rustle some papers.
Can't rustle. I have a new format here, but
I can. Got there? I see a little R2 unit.
I have an R2 journal.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah.
It's all shiny and whatnot.
Val got to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a so I can't rustle, but I can.
You could do all old-fashioned Marvel intros.
Exactly.
This is what you could do.
I still miss it. At least I get it on TV now. I don't get it in the movies anymore now.
I like the DC one better than the new Marvel one.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't go there, but yeah, I know. I don't like the new Marvel one.
I don't like it either.
It's like...
It's too long.
Well, it's long, and it's like, hey, forget about those comic books. Look at the movie stuff. Like, I get it, but comic books.
Yeah,
I like comic books still,
where it
man.
all came from.
Yeah, we don't care. We're Marvel now.
So you know how Guardians Volume 2 is on Netflix now?
It is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was watching it at work the other day because and two things occurred to me. One, the title sequence of Guardians, that 5 minutes, Electric Light Orchestra song, whatnot. That sequence alone is better than the whole of Justice League.
Well, Guardians is a high bar, sir.
Yeah.
Very high bar.
2,
yeah.
I cannot watch that movie completely in public.
Why?
Because I bawl. The ending.
There's some good stuff in there, man.
That ending. Oh, man.
I know.
The cat, that song, and just
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh, man. He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Best funeral since Spock?
Ooh. Ooh.
I mean, kinda?
Oh, wow. I think...
I broke you.
I think maybe yes. I think it beats out Donnie from The Big Lebowski.
Donnie's is pretty good, but I wasn't crying during it.
No. I cry at both those scenes, the Spock and oh man, oh yeah, wow. I'm gonna think about that, but
just putting that out there.
Is it better than the Spock scene?
Yeah. I'm a tough guy, but when Shatner breaks, so do I.
Yeah.
And he's a jerk.
Remember last year Hallmark made an ornament of the death of Spock for Christmas?
It's so festive.
It was so morbid.
Oh, man. All right, so Punisher episode 2.
They got some great stuff out this year for those Hallmark ornaments.
Got to make that Christmas money.
Get Ripley in the the big machine thing.
I'd buy that.
They got some Nintendo ones out too.
I'd buy those too.
For $1
or more.
It's all right. Punisher episode 2, 2 Dead Men.
Alrighty then. Now,
this episode and the next 2 are going to be kind of a slog.
The thing is, watching it for a second time, it's not as bad. It's just very plot heavy when I want things to kind of get rolling.
Yeah.
Right? So it's expectation versus what's being delivered.
You know what you did in the first 10 minutes of the first episode? We want more of that.
I need more of that. We're not really getting that. So what we get in this episode, though, is more is plot stuff. We're going to get Frank and Micro together. And yeah.
Micro, and we get a nice throwback to Daredevil with the diner.
I was going to say, Frank loves diners, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's the same diner from Daredevil.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You think they would know him in there by now?
Well,
this guy killed 4 people in here.
There was no. Well, we have hipster Frank in this.
Yeah, the beard. I don't think beard automatically equals hipster. It's all about context.
I've learned something in my foray into finely developed facial hair.
Go on.
Is that if you grow a beard, you're a hipster. If you grow a mustache, you're a porn star. That's just what people say. I think it's all. And you just gotta stop caring.
It's all about context. Like, I don't think he looks like a hipster. He has a beard, but he's dressed like a,
yeah,
he's dressed
borderline hobo.
Borderline hobo, yeah. With hipsters, you're usually very lumberjacky.
Yeah,
and he's not there.
No.
So I don't get it. But okay, we'll go with it because the writing says we have to.
Yeah. Although when he does says he think he's gonna go full man bun.
Yeah, I'd like to see that actually.
For the character or just John Bernthal?
Why not both? Why not both?
Feudal Japan Frank.
I mean, sure. Let's go. So we get some flashback stuff here. Yep. And, family time with Frank. We see that...
we see his kind of shortcomings as a dad at times when the soldier kind of leaks through.
Well, his kid does kind of... Here's a question.
Kids being typical kid, which they can sometimes be very jerky and not understand what they're saying.
Well, we're dropping slurs, and Frank kind of justifiably goes like, all right,
enough of this.
But, my question for you, when he says that Dad goes over to Afghanistan or to kill
what he says,
he says it very gleefully, like Dad goes because he likes to go kill lots of them, right?
Yeah.
And Frank gets mad. Now, is he getting mad because it's kind of, obviously as a father, you should not encourage that kind of language in your son, and you should not, let on that, yes, I like to kill people. But does Frank Jr., or whatever they call him now in the show, is that a tell? And is Frank's overreaction kind of oh God, is he in denial because his kid kind of outed him?
I think all fathers want better for their sons.
Okay.
All fathers want better for their children, regardless if they're sons or daughters. And I think in that moment, at least the way I interpret it, is that he didn't want his son to have that glorified view of what he does.
Okay.
He didn't want his son to see him as a superhero.
Okay.
And so that, there are certain... you don't tell your kids everything about yourself from the moment they can understand it.
Okay.
Because some things they don't benefit from knowing. There's sometimes, we make mistakes and things we've done in life, and they may have repercussions or whatnot. They may be small mistakes. They may be big mistakes. And there's a time and a place for kids to learn those about their parents. And as the parent, you kind of have to judge what and when that gets disclosed.
Right.
I learned some stuff about my father that after he passed away, that, where I was in my life, where I learned it from, it was very easy for me to forgive him of it. But had I learned it earlier in life, may have radically altered our relationship.
All right.
You see what I'm kind of saying there?
Yeah, I can't get at you.
So, yeah.
But I do wonder if he feels a twinge of, that hits home.
Yeah, there's probably that too. And there's also like soldiers have respect for one another, even across battlefields.
Yeah, generally speaking.
So
sure.
There might be an aspect of he does not want his son to minimize the enemy.
Fair enough. We get another flashback later that also kind of underscores maybe some inner trauma. Trauma's the wrong word. Obviously, he's got trauma.
Yeah.
But some inner conflict when he's laying in bed and he's getting the flashback of Maria kind of waking him up or whatever.
Yep.
This time, someone in a mask walks in and shoots her in the head.
Yeah. And it's very clearly him.
It's him.
Yeah. Because we see they don't show it in this episode, but we see in later episodes that he was the guy who pulled the trigger in the interrogation.
Right. And now, on one level, it's thematic to this episode because that video shows up in this episode, and we find out that what's her name, Madani, I'm sorry. Yeah. She has seen the video. Yes. Frank has a copy of it on the micro disc that Micro gave him, and he's not too keen on watching it because he kind of throws the laptop aside when he does see it.
Yeah,
so
because he knows what it is, like right off the bat.
Right. So when he has that vision of that guy, which we know is him, is he reacting because it's, that scene and that video and it's on his mind? Or I'm going to go a little heavier into the meta here, and it's like Frank's Marine life overtook his family life, and he, for lack of a better term, chose it over his family, and they're dead now because of it.
I agree with most of that. I don't think he necessarily, air finger quotes, chose it over his family as much as that is what he became, and that's what he was when he came home.
Okay.
And like all soldiers have to go through that reacclimation process.
Okay.
And obviously that process was not complete for Frank when what happened to his family happened. So yeah, that's the only kind of different perspective I would take on it.
I don't disagree, and especially in the context of the show, because he chastises Micro later on for putting his family in danger for what he was doing, which was leaking. He was an NSA. Well, he was a NSA analyst who was leaking information to the press. He's kind of like Snowden or something like that.
Yeah.
And
which is a really cool interpretation.
It is.
Of the character.
It is actually. Still wish he was fat, but I like it. Yeah. So. He gives him a hard time about that, and so I agree. The only reason I bring that up is I was having a discussion with a friend this week about Bourne.
The Punisher, Jason Bourne?
No, the Punisher miniseries about his fourth tour in Vietnam.
Okay.
By Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. And Bourne is fantastic, but there is the way of... Did you read Bourne?
No.
Okay. It's great. The whole Ennis Punisher run is like, again, it's why I'm here, folks, okay? This is why I'm really passionate about this stuff. It's amazing. But in that run, I'm bringing it up now because it just, we're talking about the Punisher. The way it resolves itself, there's this inner voice that Frank hears, and it's unclear who it is. And you can read it as like death or, the devil or the Punisher inside Frank's head talking to him. It's unclear.
Yeah.
But the way it's worded in this part, and then there's a very clear panel. It implies sort of that it tells him basically, Frank, I can make the war last forever. I can make, we can wage war forever, and I can make that happen. Just say the word, and I can make it happen. There'll be a price, but I can make it happen. And Frank, it's a very intense scene. He's like basically being completely overwhelmed by Viet Cong soldiers, and this is going on in his head, and then he snaps and kills them all. So the panel I'm talking about, he says, well, Frank, remember when I said there'd be a price? And you turn the page, and that's the caption on the page. I said there'd be a price. It's his family surrounded in silhouette by the Punisher's skull.
So kind of like the chalk outline, but the chalk outline's the Punisher skull.
It's like his family's framed in the skull, basically.
Yeah.
With that quote. And Frank tells his wife, hold on tight, and like he hugs her, and he tells her that, and the look on his face, the way it's drawn, is very knowing. And it's always, I don't want to say bugged me. Well, yeah, I guess it's kind of like it's twisted me up.
It's introducing the concept that Frank chose what happened to his family.
Right. Even though it's still a senseless act of violence that took them, right? He didn't do anything to make it happen. He had no knowledge that it was going to happen. But that reading of that, it really implies that somehow, some way, he knows and he does nothing. Or he's complicit in it happening. Even though he takes no action to do it. And it really, it's one thing for that senseless act of violence that happened to him to be the trigger or the justification or his mission, where he just decides, that's it, I'm just going to do this from now on.
Yeah.
It's very different if he knows on some level that it's going to happen and he's okay with it. Or okay with maybe okay with is the wrong word, but I mean,
no, I get it.
And that this has twisted me up about the Punisher and about Bourne for a long time, and I'm just curious if there's sort of shades of that happening in this show.
Have you ever read it was a one-shot Batman story called Ego?
No.
It was done by Darwin Cook and Paul Dini.
That's a great team.
Yeah. Basically, the story starts out that Batman is chasing after somebody who was part of a Joker scheme.
Okay.
Joker's already been caught, and this guy was kind of like, think of the animated series episode Joker's Favor.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the guy that like Joker kind of shoehorned into helping him.
Sure.
Think along those lines. So this guy makes it to like Gotham Bridge or something and is getting ready to jump. He knows that Joker's already been caught, but he's afraid of what the Joker's going to do to his family. So he kills them before the Joker can.
Whoa.
And then like he stabs Batman before he jumps off the bridge and whatnot. So Batman goes back to the cave, and it's fairly early in his career, and he's kind of at a breaking point, and he kind of falls asleep on the computer, and then the whole thing is he has a conversation with Bruce Wayne has a conversation with the Batman persona.
Okay.
And it's always like the Batman persona is very like dark and aggressive. This is Batman stripped of Bruce Wayne's code.
Okay.
More or less. And he's telling Bruce, he's like, I've always been there in one form or another. And they show like Bruce holding an action figure of Zorro.
Okay.
And it's just like the persona says to Bruce, he's like, we have to kill the Joker. We have to. And he proposes to Bruce that Bruce enter into a psychosis to where he essentially becomes Two-Face. He's Bruce Wayne by day, but then the Batman
takes over
at night and can do whatever he wants.
Okay. It's
really good. I'll let you borrow it. It's a quick read. It's not long at all. It's fantastic. And it's a great answer to all the people who say the Batman should kill the Joker, which I've never agreed with.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll let you borrow that. It's so good. I mean, it's Paul Dini writing and Darwin Cook.
So, tying into Frank here, how does that...
Well, it's just kind of like what you were talking about with Bourne. It's kind of like that same...
Well, it's very vague in Bourne. That's a thing.
Yeah.
We don't know. And that's where it gets dicey. And then again, Frank's reaction in Bourne, it really reads knowing. It reads like very knowingly. So I'm just wondering if the show is going to maybe shine some light on that or keep it fairly, traditional and to give Frank some sympathy. Because I'll tell you, having that panel it's made my whole view on the character problematic.
You're gonna have to show it to me after the show.
I will.
Quick access to
I
it.
will.
What do you think of Karen being brought into this show?
It makes sense. They were close in Daredevil.
It does make sense, but I'm really nervous, Drew. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Go on.
I'm really nervous they're gonna turn this into a will they, won't they thing. The red flag went up a little bit for me, but given she only has eyes for Matt, to me, so but Matt's dead at this point.
But he'll be back.
We don't know how
better.
long he's been dead.
He gets better.
We know that, but she doesn't.
I know. I'm not too concerned. I think Frank has more of a paternal kind of thing with her. That's just my read on it. I don't know why.
I'm worried. That's all I'm saying is I'm worried.
Totally justified, man.
I was happy to see our favorite, not J. Jonah Jameson,
Ellison's back.
Make an appearance.
He has really good memory, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And she drops this weird micro thing on him, and he just pulls that out of his... He just knows. Oh, yeah.
Well, when a high up in the CIA kind of comes to you and tells you, asks you not to run a story, that probably sticks in your craw a bit.
Fair enough. So,
was it just me, or... Karen's got a big office for just being a reporter.
Well, didn't she take Urich's old office? Didn't Ellison kind of give it to her because...
Yeah. Still.
Hey, I don't know what a reporter's office looks like, to be fair, so...
It's just something that kind of stuck out to me.
He could be showing her some favor.
Yeah. So, and...
Millennials, they want their offices, their cell phones, and their, cappuccino machines.
Frank pays a visit to Carson, the C. Thomas Howell character.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
great fight scene.
There's a lot going on here, so that's...
Well, we jump around.
We jump around here. So he does do that. And I have to say, he could have fared better in the fight, in the struggle.
I think they established that, Carson got to where he is the hard way.
Okay, fair enough.
Carson is first and foremost, like they established early in the episode when he's talking to Madani, he's like, I was okay with being first through the door. And it takes a special kind of...
That's fair.
Yeah.
I will say this. Frank better be very, 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 very confident that this guy is the guy he thinks he is, or guilty of something. Because
do you think Frank cares if he isn't?
Frank does have something of a code.
Yeah.
And here he's got this guy tied up, and he's trying to get information out of him.
Puts one in his leg.
He puts one in his leg. He shoots him in the leg. Like, dude, you better really hope this guy tells you something at this point. Otherwise, you've got to cross some lines here. Then again, he's the Punisher. So, But still, he better... I hope he's got confidence in his ability to detect guilt, I guess, because, wow. He gets free, but he doesn't fare for long.
No.
Frank does outsmart him. He has something of a Hans Gruber moment.
Yeah.
No bullets.
Just you, me, and the truth now.
Yeah.
Crack.
That was it. But the guy does confess that basically they knew Frank was onto them, and they were going to kill his family to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
Or himself, or him as well.
Well, no, it wasn't to keep him quiet. Like, Frank was supposed to get killed there, too.
He was, yes. Yeah.
The family was killed, too, so that, like, it would just look like
a total
drug
mess.
bust gone wrong.
Right. So now Frank knows this, and he offs him, and the web gets a little bigger, though, because there's still other players involved.
Thicker. Yep.
And... related to that web
is Anvil from the comics.
I don't recall. Not in the Max run that I know. But you know who all is in the comics, Carl?
Who's that?
Billy Russo.
Who's Billy Russo in the comics?
Well, he's not Frank's old platoon buddy. And he doesn't run a paramilitary outfit that does black ops in Kandahar and Afghanistan and whatnot.
What does he do?
He's a mafioso. As you yawn. And Frank kind of mangles his face. And he's Jigsaw.
Jigsaw!
He's the closest thing the Punisher has to an arch nemesis.
I have 2 points of reference for Jigsaw.
Okay.
The first one being the Marvel Series 1 trading cards.
Yes.
The second one being Punisher Warzone. And you have told me that Punisher Warzone is not a good point of reference for the character.
Mostly because of the performance.
Yes. Very camp.
Camp.
Might as well be a Batman 66 villain.
Batman and Robin, even, if you want to go there.
Okay.
He's nice to see you away from nice.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
It's that bad.
Chopper.
It's that bad. But Jigsaw is the closest thing Frank has to an arch nemesis, basically.
Okay.
So seeing him here as not that is certainly interesting.
When you saw this for the first time, we were just kind of like, wait, what? What? Wait.
Yeah.
No, stop.
Well,
what are you doing?
Hang on. Here's the thing. It's kind of a I had a point of resignation, and I don't know at what point. It was either in the first episode or maybe somewhere in this episode where it was just like, well, they're clearly taking liberties, so let's see where it goes. The character of Billy Russo, to be fair, I mean, it's not a sacred
It's not
cow.
like we're messing with the Joker.
No, not even close. So if you want to, spin this a different way, I'm open to it. Let's see what you got. So long as at some point his face gets mangled, okay? That's kind of part and parcel. So he's kind of putting the Mac on Madani. They got a little blossoming thing going on over there. Now, Frank's doing a little recon on Micro.
Yes.
So he gets the information from... Does he get it from...
He gets it from
Thomas
Karen.
Howell?
No, he gets it from Karen.
From Karen, right. Yeah. And he goes and pays his family a visit.
Yep.
This part kind of irked me. Here's why.
Why's that?
Well, one thing I did like. When he does the little subterfuge, oh crap, you hit me with your car move in the driveway?
Yeah.
That's stupid. I'll tell you why I don't like this whole setup.
Yeah.
But the wrestling fan in me loves
the razor blade.
He does a blade job. Smart. Frank probably watches wrestling. Anyway, I like that. That made me smile. Okay, here's why I don't like this whole Frank doing recon in the bad guy's family routine. Because it reminds me of the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane when he carries around a fake fire hydrant to screw with the wife at the movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Like this big elaborate plan.
Yeah.
No, that's not Frank. Frank's like, bang.
To be fair, though, this is a little... He doesn't know where Micro is.
Yeah.
He doesn't know...
Doesn't necessarily know who he is.
Right.
He's got a name.
This is legit reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane, it was more like prankster Frank, which is just kind of silly. But anyway, that movie had a lot of problems. But it did have Roy Scheider, which made Jay happy.
Yeah. And I always like when John Travolta plays a villain. He makes a good villain.
Yeah. Good for you.
I liked.
For you.
I liked. There were a couple really nice Punisher executions in that movie. The grenade and dumbwaiter, I always kind of tickled me.
Okay.
Making the son hold out the landmine and putting the pin on the string, like outstretched arm extended, like 20 pounds.
Yeah. Here's why I like that. Not so much because of the way he did it. Well, it was clever the way he did it. But when he goes outside and Travolta's like, you killed my son, then you hear an explosion, and he goes, both of them. It's so savage. It's terrible, but it's great.
Jane would have made a good Punisher. He was a good Punisher in a bad movie.
Sure. I'll you know what's funny about this?
A Punisher movie does not need a Thanksgiving scene.
No.
Especially one with Diesel in a god-awful blonde
Kevin Nash was so miscast for that. That should have been like...
I mean, put him in there, sure, but don't make him look like what you did.
He looked like off the page, man. That's the Russian.
Okay.
I was smiling. It was fun.
Kind of.
I enjoyed it. To be fair, though, I'm a huge mark for Welcome Back Frank, and the Russian is in it, and he's hilarious, and that fight is basically verbatim. So I can't... Yeah. I'm trying to think, did Kevin Nash hit him with a toilet? I think he did. They took that from the comics. He hits him with the toilet. I got big props to that.
Okay.
Although they didn't kill him the same way. So he throws him down the stairs, right, in the Punisher movie.
After he throws like boiling water in his face,
something like that.
Yeah.
In the in the comic, which was more of a black comedy, he might throw boiling water in his face or something like that. And then John Panette, the comedian, the fat guy in the building.
Yes. He
was fatter in the comic, and the Punisher grabs him and throws him on top of the Russian and suffocates him with the fat guy.
That's pretty messed up and awesome at the same time.
So at one point, Frank goes like, "Can you feel him breathing? Or do you feel anything under there?" And he goes like, "No, sir." And he goes, "We'll give it a couple more minutes."
Jeez.
It's brutal, man. It's hilarious. Anyway, moving on. So, where were we? Oh, this whole family reconnaissance. It makes sense. I get it. But once again, like you had reservations with Karen, here I am, like going like, we setting up a little angle with the man and dude's family here. What you gonna do? And Micro's watching, like you gonna be like looking at the camera, like, look what I can do.
Look what I'm downloading.
Yeah. So, this whole little angle I don't know if I like. And actually, it goes for another couple episodes, and it's like, what are you buddying up the dude's family for? I don't know.
So, and then the episode kind of ends with Frank calling Micro, making him go on a wild goose chase.
Well, by going to his family, he has leverage now on Micro. Because he knows Micro's watching him, and he knows that Micro saw him go to his family, and now he's like, see, I'm Frank. I do stuff. You're messing with the wrong guy here. Here's how things are going to go now. And Frank gets the one up on him. Sends him on a wild goose chase. Curtis lends a hand.
Yep.
Surprise! I'm in your trunk. Now I'm in your base, and you're unconscious.
So, if Micro has a beer... would it be a microbrew? It's bad. I know it's bad, but it just popped into my head. Like, well, clearly I have to.
We just lost subscribers because of that. All right, that's episode 2, man.
Yep.
The show...
It picks up, folks.
It's not as bad... Upon second viewing, not as bad as my first viewing. And it does pick up from here.
I think you are going to get more out of the show ultimately than I am, mainly because of your experience with the comics.
Okay.
You've pretty much read everything of the Punisher that's come out since...
in the last 15 to 17 years, yes.
Which is where all this is kind of being drawn from.
Sort of. This Afghanistan, this is all new. The Punisher that I know and love was Vietnam, and it's very dated, and not dated, but it's just, the Ennis version that I really am fond of, aged in real time, and he's told a lot of stories about him in war and a lot. But I still have a very tight affinity for the character. So, seeing this interpretation of him, I have to accept it because it just is what it is. You have to update with the times. But again, I'm like 6 episodes in now, and now that I'm seeing the plot unfold and seeing the way things are going, this is very much in the vein of something that Garth Ennis would have done. And I'm okay with it now.
Okay.
Now that especially now that the show is picking up, and it's like, okay, now we're getting to an arsenal, and we're seeing Frank's tactical mind at work, and things are, and then by the way, in a few episodes from now, he kills a bunch of people, and not that I need that, but it's a Punisher show. It's kind of part of the gig. So
you need some bang bang.
Yeah. So we're getting to that, and I'm a little more into it now.
Alrighty. So, folks.
Yes.
Next week, no Punisher episode because we'll be doing Star Wars. Big old review there. So, if you would like to send in some questions, comments, communicate with the show, find us on social media, you can do so at the following locations. You can find us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, any last thoughts before we bring the gavel down on another episode?
No, sir. I'm good to go here. Just if you thought we were harsh on the first episode, let us know. But I've kind of come around on the show a little bit, and I'm looking forward to keeping it rolling.
Alrighty. Folks, thank you again for joining us. We would definitely appreciate sharing or retweeting new episode announcements. And we will talk to you again next week. Till then, court is adjourned.